Conservative New Media viewers, JLin fans around the world, Charlotte Hornets fans around the world, what's up? It's me, PFV, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We're here to discuss Charlotte's 98-95 victory tonight over the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. With the win, the Hornets improved to 28-26 on the season, and the Milwaukee Bucks dropped to 22-33 on the year. Let's do the woo quickly. This is a loud noise to celebrate the win. If you don't want to hear it, you can skip this. I will count it down before I do it so that you'll know it's coming, and you can skip it if you want. 3, 2, 1. Woo! This was a great win for a number of different reasons. The most important reason is the last time these two teams played, Milwaukee crushed the Hornets. Hornets could not match up with the Bucks. They were too athletic. They were too long of reach. They just couldn't handle them. And tonight it was a different story. And that game was in Charlotte. So this is a revenge win. It's also a win on the road. And it keeps Charlotte's momentum going that they had going into the All-Star break. So those are three really important reasons tonight. And additionally, they got the victory without new addition Courtney Lee, who the team acquired before the trading deadline. Courtney was not able to practice yesterday, and so I don't think Coach Clifford wanted to use him until he's been through a practice. And so that was also an effect. Courtney's a good defender, and he's pretty tall and athletic, so he definitely would help against this team. The reason why the Hornets won this game is, number one, they outplayed the Bucks in the fourth quarter. They outscored Milwaukee 28-17 in the fourth quarter after they went into the fourth quarter down by 8 points. So they outscored them by 11 points. That made it from an 8-point deficit into a 3-point victory. The second reason why they beat them tonight was because Milwaukee gave up twice as many points from their turnovers as the Hornets did. Charlotte's turnovers led to 14 Milwaukee points, whereas the Bucks' turnovers led to 28 points from Charlotte. Let's go over the statistics quickly. Milwaukee was led by Jabari Parker with 23 points, 11 rebounds. Chris Middleton, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Giannis Antetokounmpo, I never can say his name right. 18 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Michael Carter-Williams off the bench, 14 points, 6 rebounds. Kemba Walker paced the Hornets, 25 points, 6 rebounds. Cody Zeller, who started tonight, 23 points, 9 rebounds. Marvin Williams was huge in this game, 15 points. Jeremy Lamb off the bench with 14 points and 2 rebounds. This was also the return of Al Jefferson, who has missed a number of games because he had knee surgery. He was back in this game, 6 points, 5 rebounds for him. Great to see him back. He certainly is going to help the team, and just good to get him back. JLin, 4 points. Let me actually just do something here quickly. Sorry about that. 4 points, no rebounds, 2 assists. Jeremy played 23 minutes, shot 1 of 8 from the field, so he didn't have a good shooting night. 0 of 3 from three-point range, 2 of 2 free throws, 4 steals, 0 block shots, 3 turnovers, 1 personal foul. Jeremy's plus-minus was a +8. As I mentioned, Jeremy didn't shoot the ball well in this game. So there's that. It's a lot of times when guys come off of the All-Star break, they're rusty. They're just not in rhythm. And that's what Jeremy looked like tonight. Now, we know that Jeremy, when he came back from the All-Star game last year, he was incredible. But it's pretty typical for guys to not play great in the first game back. So I'm not going to freak out. We know Jeremy he's had his struggles with his long-range shot all year. He's still working on changing his form, so it's not a big surprise. As I'm making this video right now, I'm looking at the scoreboard, and Golden State is down by 19 points to Portland, who is not even remotely in the same league as Golden State is as a team. But this is what happens. Guys take breaks, and it's like you got to kind of regain your groove. And that might have been the case for Jeremy tonight. However, as I mentioned, 4 steals. And he got his hands on more basketballs than that. He caused more problems than just the 4 steals. So Jeremy definitely made his presence felt. He did get 23 minutes, which is tied for the most off the bench with both Al Jefferson and Jeremy Lamb. Now, Jeremy Lamb did play the finishing role in this game. And the reason why he did, well, there's 2 reasons, but the primary reason why he did was because Milwaukee is big. And they didn't want JLin to have to guard Chris Middleton, because when that happened in the last game, it went really badly for the Hornets. Jeremy Lamb is taller, he has longer arms, and so that was the decision that was made. Let's stick with Jeremy Lamb. Also, going into the fourth quarter, I think Jeremy Lamb had shot like 6 out of 6 going into that quarter. So, no problem. We understand it. The only reason JLin didn't start in this game tonight was because Milwaukee's size. Coach Clifford discussed this at practice yesterday in the video that was released after practice. He said, normally I would start JLin, but we're not sure for what we're going to do because Milwaukee's a tough matchup for us in terms of size and so forth. And the decision was made instead to start Nick Batum at the shooting guard spot. Marvin Williams started at small forward. Frank Kaminsky started at power forward. Cody Zeller started at center. So they went big in this game. Credit to Coach Clifford. Credit to the team. They went big, and it worked. So instead of being totally outcompeted and outsized, as they were in the last time they played Milwaukee, tonight they got it done. This isn't a perfect matchup for the Hornets. This is one of the tougher matchups for them in the league in terms of opponents. So I don't know if the 2 teams are playing again. If they do, it'll only be one more time in the regular season. This was the 3rd meeting. Charlotte has the advantage 2-1. And I don't think Milwaukee is going to make the playoffs. So at worst, we're probably going to only have to deal with these guys maybe one more time. Maybe. And that's it. So toodaloo, and it's nice to see them off. This was, like I said, this was an excellent win. The team has now won 4 straight games. They've won 6 of their last 7. We're 2 games over 500 at 28 and 26. You know, we were struggling there for so long. Are we going to get to 500? Are we going to get to 500? Which means, for those not familiar with the term 500, that is basically the winning percentage, .500, which means you've won as many games as you've lost. And Charlotte went below 500, and they were looking up, trying to get there. They finally got there, and now the team is 2 games over 500, and they are in 7th place in the Eastern Conference standing. And I'll tell you this, the Chicago Bulls, they're not tanking, they're not giving up on the season. That's not the right way to characterize things, because they won a big game tonight against the Toronto Raptors, which was actually quite surprising to me. But they're missing Joakim Noah. They're missing Jimmy Butler for who knows how long with injury. And Charlotte's passed them in the standings. Chicago's number 8 in the East. Charlotte's number 7, although they do have identical records. Charlotte has a tiebreaker, I believe. So, with Chicago looking a little wobbly, Atlanta, there was some thought that Atlanta might get rid of some players and kind of tank this year. They did not do that at the trading deadline, but still I mean, they have a better record than Charlotte does, and they do have most of their same talent, so I'm not going to say they're going to tank, but we'll see what happens with them. And the point of all of this is Charlotte definitely has a good chance now to make the playoffs. Losing Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, no question, is a huge blow. That's a big blow because Michael adds a lot. But getting Courtney Lee, of course, we say goodbye to Brian Roberts and to P.J. Hairston. Those were the 2 players dealt for Courtney Lee. Getting Courtney Lee will help eliminate or minimize the loss of Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Is Courtney Lee as good as Michael Kidd-Gilchrist? No, not even close. But he's a good player. He's a solid player. He's high character. Steve Clifford has coached him before when Clifford was an assistant with the Orlando Magic. Courtney Lee was with the Magic in 2008-2009, his rookie year. Courtney Lee will start at the shooting guard position. Will Courtney Lee finish games as compared with maybe JLin? I don't know. Nobody's asked Coach Clifford that yet. It's certainly possible. I think it'll probably vary game to game. Sometimes it'll depend on the matchup. However, Courtney Lee is bigger and longer armed than JLin is. We know that Coach Clifford's a defensive coach. So I do think there's certainly a pretty solid chance that Courtney Lee could be part of the finishing group rather than JLin. I can't tell you right now because I don't know. The scouting report on Courtney Lee, the overview of Courtney Lee as a player is he's about 6'5", maybe 6'4", in his bare feet. He doesn't weigh a ton, like he's not really heavy for his height. He's very athletic. He's good at running the court and good in transition and finishing around the rim. He's an excellent three-point shooter, particularly a good three-point shooter from the corners. And he's known for his defense. He's not an overpowering defender, but he's a good defender. And as I said before, he's a high-character guy. He's dependable, he's professional, and so forth. I mentioned earlier this season, or even in the preseason, that I thought there was a chance Charlotte might get rid of P.J. Hairston. And I don't want to talk badly about P.J. Hairston, but P.J. Hairston has had some issues off the court in his personal life or whatever. I don't think you're going to have those issues with Courtney Lee. And so I'm not totally surprised that P.J. Hairston was part of the deal because I know that Charlotte was not going to re-sign P.J. Hairston after this year when his contract was up. So now Courtney Lee's contract is also up at the end of this year. Basically, the reason why Courtney Lee was acquired was because Michael Kidd-Gilchrist got hurt and because Charlotte wants to make the playoffs. So they're not conceding anything. They're going to make a run for it and go for it. And I think it's great. So they have enough talent. If everybody stays healthy now, including Al Jefferson, they have enough talent to make a run, to make the playoffs, and to, depending on who they match up against, have a good chance to win a series at least. I don't know if they get number 8 and they go against Cleveland, that'd be pretty tough. If they get number 7 and they go against what I would probably imagine would be Toronto, that would be pretty tough. If they can get like a number 6 seed or something like that, then you might have a real chance to win a series. So it's this is good. Again, we're 2 games over 500. We're on a nice winning streak. The team's basically back up to full health, given that Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is going to miss the rest of the season after his second surgery on his shoulder. And things look good. Things look real good. And now, as I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the video, we're starting to win games on the road. The most difficult thing that this team had was they could not win on the road. So this is a really important win tonight. And this is their second straight win on the road, because the game right before the All-Star break against Indiana was also on the road. So that's the indicators here are all pointing upward, positive, and that's really good to see. I'm not going to do quarter by quarter tonight. There's not a ton of stuff to say about Jeremy. As I said, he didn't shoot well. He played pretty well. He certainly had the steals and was making himself a force on defense. Look, it's just, he's having a tough shooting year, and he just didn't shoot well tonight, okay? Its PER will go down, and this isn't a great stats night, but he played well, and he helped the team win. And that's it. And look, I want Jeremy's stats to be great, but I'm just happy the team wins. The most important thing is for the team to win, because then everybody feels good and everybody's happy and everybody looks better individually when the team wins. So this is definitely a good thing. Okay? So I guess that's kind of the wrap up here of what happened tonight, what's going on with Courtney Lee. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, as I mentioned, he did have a second surgery on his shoulder. He is out for the rest of the season. P.J. Hairston and Brian Roberts were dealt. And Al Jefferson is back. And now the team this team's been through a lot of adversity this year. They started out incredibly well. Extremely well. They looked great early. And then they just kind of lost their mojo. They couldn't defend well for a while. They couldn't win on the road, and they sunk below 500. They started having a bunch of different injury problems. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was already out. Nick Batum hurt his toe. Jeremy Lamb hurt his toe. Al Jefferson had to get the knee procedure done. Different guys get hurt. Jeremy Lin hurt his ankle. Now it looks like everything's starting to kind of come back together right on cue, right on time. And so I love the way things are looking right now. I really, really like the way things are looking. And as I said previously, now the team is starting to gain confidence on the road. And that's a very good sign. If you're going to win in the playoffs, if you're going to make a run for the playoffs, you need to be able to compete on the road. You need to have confidence. You need to feel like you can dig out some tough games. And that's what the team did tonight. Milwaukee, I tell you, Milwaukee, I have to look right now, but they're a fast team in terms of their pace is the highest in the league, I believe. Yeah, I think that's correct, or it's way up there. They score a pretty good amount of points per game, and Charlotte held them below 100 points tonight. Now, like I said, they're just coming off the All-Star break too, so they're a little off their rhythm, but they play well at home. They feel very good about how they match up with Charlotte, and tonight the team held them to just 95 points in their own building. So good defense was played tonight, and it was played on the road. So, as I said, everything looks good right now. Everything is looking really good. Don't worry about Jeremy. We will see what happens in terms of will he be in the finishing group, will he not be, etc. At the very worst for Jeremy Lin, and if you look at everything, if you think of it, all things going negative, in the worst possible scenario. He's got 28 more regular season games this season, and then whatever happens in the playoffs. So what I'm saying is if Jeremy doesn't like the situation, if he doesn't feel like he's getting enough minutes or he's not being in a finishing group or whatever, he doesn't have that much time left. I mean, remember, he's a free agent this coming summer. So if he wants to move along from this team, and I'm not saying that he does, and he very well might not want to move on from this team, there's not too much time left. We're not going to have to. You're literally talking about less than 2 months of regular season, and then whatever happens in the playoffs. So I'm not worried about that. And I think for Jeremy, he just wants to play with a team that he likes and with a team that has a chance to do something, to make the playoffs and be successful. After last year in Los Angeles, I mean, it's got to feel really good, and particularly when you actually like your teammates and you like your coaches. So that's a really good thing. So that is about it. That's kind of the wrap-up of what happened tonight. It was a good night, and it didn't look good for a while. But the team fought. They dug down. They're building toughness. The team's getting tougher. They're getting stronger. And that really need that strength when you go out on the road. And that's what they're starting to develop it now. Now, the team is in the middle of a long road trip right now. And once they're finished with this road trip, then they're actually will have more home games remaining than road games for the rest of the season. For a while, they had a lot more home games. And now it's almost evened out. And after this road trip, it'll be evened out. So we're coming up. The next game will be the third game of the road trip. And there are 6 games on this road trip. If they win the next game to go 3-0 on the road trip, then the worst you could do on the road trip is 3-3, which is pretty darn good. That's not bad for a road trip. So I just, the positioning of everything is very good right now. Everything is looking sunshiny right now. Okay, that next game will take place 2 days from now, Sunday, February 21st, here in the United States. They will take on the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn, New York. And the game will take place at 6 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States. That means the game will take place Monday, February 22nd at 7 a.m. in the morning in Taipei, Taiwan, and throughout China. So, as I said, I mean, I'm out of practice because of the All-Star break, so I'm kind of a little scattered here, but I'm very happy for the team. I'm not worried about Jeremy at all. Not worried about his shooting. I'm not worried about his minutes. I think things are going to go well. I think they've gone well for Jeremy this year despite his shooting. I think he's happy in terms of his situation, the city, the teammates, the coaches, pretty much everything. Sure, he'd want to be starting. Of course, he wants more minutes, but it's going pretty well. It's been going pretty well. And I'm curious to see, is he going to be in the finishing group and this type of thing, at least some of the time, and I think that he will be. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I don't know that yet. We'll see how it works out. So, thumbs up, thumbs down, your comments below. I want to thank Gary Chen for the artwork you're looking at right now. Gary is an artist and blogger in Taiwan. He's also a member of the Jeremy Only Lin Garden fan group, which is headquartered in Taiwan and which has members all over the world. You can learn more about Gary and about the Jeremy Only Lin Garden group if you follow the information in the video description below the video player. Also there in the video description, you will find information for highlights of this game, so you can check those out. Finally, there you will see information about how you can come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group and how you can come and follow us on Twitter. I usually will tweet out during the games, so I like to communicate, and also when, like, before the game, like what are injury updates, this type of thing. So hopefully we can talk with you there over on Twitter. Once again, I'm PFE Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for following conservative new media. For watching conservative new media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. As I said, there's no negatives tonight. I don't think anybody got hurt. The team showed a tremendous amount of heart and resiliency in this game. Courtney Lee should be ready to go for Sunday, I believe, so that even adds more depth. Things are looking good right now. Let's just try to keep winning and keep winning on the road. So I am very much looking forward to the game in Brooklyn. Brooklyn is not a good team. They're definitely beatable. And hopefully Jeremy and the gang will go out there and get a win in New York City 2 days from now. That is all for tonight. We will talk to you again in less than 48 hours. Hope you're having a great night or great day yourself, wherever you are around the world. I am in northeast Pennsylvania, and it's kind of cold, but it's not that bad. This has actually been a relatively mild winter, and we're in the home stretch of winter here, the last 4 weeks or so. So certainly looking forward to turn to spring, but not too bad up here at this latitude here in the northern hemisphere. Hope you in the northern hemisphere are staying warm, and everybody in the southern hemisphere is enjoying summer and whatever, out on the beach or doing whatever you do, and staying cool in the sun and in the heat. Take care, and as I said, we will talk to you again in less than 48 hours as Jeremy Lin and the Charlotte Hornets take on the Brooklyn Nets from New York City.